Hello and welcome to the second episode of 2P
Podcast.
Yes. Today we're back with an interesting topic yet again. However, it has been inspired by a real life incident, something that I faced.
So, what was it that you faced?
When we talk about entities, right?
Yes.
A lot of entities. Well, there was this one morning that I woke up to watch Scooby-Doo. And I'm name dropping it because I do not think that they'll find this name. But yeah. So I woke up one morning to watch Scooby-Doo that was being aired on Cartoon Network. And it was like, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30 because I was not sure when it was being aired. But I was like, it's aired early in the morning, so I have to watch it. And I was like, it was like probably for half an hour, but the show lasted for an hour. But I had to watch Scooby-Doo. So I woke up and I was brushing my teeth, and in my place, the mirror is placed in a way so that you can see the entire length of our hallway. So it's like a small corridor sort of a place. But it's on that end, you'd be able to see unobstructed to the other end.
Yes.
And I was there with my TV switched on, and it was like wee hours of the morning, and I was sitting brushing my teeth, looking at TV, when in my mirror I saw somebody peek from the corner. And it was not like a deep, dark corner where there is no lighting. It was literally the place where we stand and brush every day. It's like a well-lit place where there's like a lamp on top and it is bright. The entire space is colored yellow, so it's all the more bright. And then like there was this figure. It almost looked like, something of my height peeking from around that pillar. And I use the word pillar very loosely. It was more like one end of a wall. And there's no exits from there, okay? It's all closed off. There was something that just peeked around the corner like this. And I just saw it. If this is the pillar, it was like, it was not there, and then it's like this. And I being me, I turned around. I saw it in the mirror. I turned around and like, I don't see anything. With my brush in my mouth, I was like brushing. And then I went to explore what's on there. And the light was on, the walls are there, and there was nothing. And I was like, that was weird. And I was, mind you, I'm not asleep. Scooby-Doo has not started to the point where I'd be like, okay, I'm projecting.
Yeah.
But still, that was weird because you do not see anything that clear in the mirror. And I would have been, I believe at that age, I would have been far more scared if I'd seen an unknown face in the mirror. But this was no face. This was just like a blob of head peeking out and then just going back. When I look back.
Wait, how old were you?
I don't know. I was in like class 6, 7. Twilight was always aired on HBO India, so that's like a marker. I don't know, make anything out of it that you will. HBO was somehow always showing Twilight when I was young.
Yes.
And it was always the pattern. It was not Eclipse.
Yes,
not
exactly.
Moon.
It was just Twilight.
Every morning at 5:30 am, someday or the other, Edward would be sneering, "Oh my God, that smell, Bella." So yeah. This is the thing that inspired today's episode. However, it is only recently that I got to know that entities of the kind have a name.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think I chanced upon it on some YouTube video that I was watching. I came across the name that it was called a peekaboo. Now, whenever we hear the word peekaboo, it essentially is like a game.
Right, exactly.
And children were like, peekaboo! And they like have zero sense of how things are and how far things can be and how they can place themselves behind things. So you'd be like, a child can be hiding behind a pillar and not be seen, and a child can be trying to hide behind like a thin broomstick or something and still peekaboo, and you have to pretend that you did not see them. So it's all fun and games and all light-hearted. But then it takes on a very sinister note. So the game of hide and seek and peekaboo are like similar? It's very similar, and like we're very nonchalant about it. It's like fun. We're gonna play hide and seek. Oh my God, it's so fun. We're gonna play peekaboo, and peekaboo is such an old term. It has been used for so long that it's almost synonymous with the fact that it is something very innocent, something associated to children, and it's like as good as like going boo, right? And it does not hold much gravity in the terms of it being something paranormal. And I had the same view until I did not. And mind you, even when I saw that thing, I was so busy and so into Scooby-Doo and the urge to watch Scooby-Doo, and I was not even scared. It was just something that happened in the wee hours of the day, and it was weird, different, but I was not scared.
See, that
is how a horror movie begins. But okay.
I think it was more based on the fact that you were little. You didn't understand much. You're
I
more
did not
excited.
care.
Huh?
I was like,
You're not care enough. But right now, if something similar happened, we will not go to investigate over
I was
that.
like, absolutely not. I've seen enough horror movies to understand that that is not how you should be dealing with things.
Exactly. Like, you'll not be going over that. Look at what it was.
Exactly. So, to get formally started, let us say what are the origins of peekaboo and how old it is. So, I was looking into it and turns out like it dates back to like 1600s. That's how old it is. People all the time have been like, this is such a common thing that we've been doing. People in science have been studying it extensively as to how it can, contribute to baby's bones and kind of conversation, how it can build. It has been synonymous with the fact that like this thing can help with balancing expectations in terms of care, provide them with an ounce of surprise and joy. But it's again, this thing is like, there was this linguist who compared the game to a dialogue given the predictable back and forth pattern. So it's like, like a kid is there expecting that you'll be playing with them, intrigued by what they have to do. Then you go like, oh my god, I did not see it. Then the kid is like this, and go like, peekaboo, I saw it, and the kid is again giggling. So there's this expectation already in place, which is effectively being fulfilled. Which is like, this thing as a part of the conversation when it comes to children and their development makes sense. The modern form it is, it's there is no particular origin of the term in the paranormal sense. But people have started naming the entity as peekaboo because there have been a lot of instances where people are like, it can be a thin pole and you still see that there's something peeking behind it, and by the time you're there, there's nothing. You go back and there's nothing. And it can be behind anything, not only a pole. It can be like a cupboard, a dark corner from the side of your door. People report that they have been watched. They're feeling that they're being watched. Like even you were mentioning that you have had instances where you feel very watched. Like you feel the gaze. Like
someone's looking at you. Like,
exactly.
You're not alone, basically.
Exactly. Now the funny part is, this peekaboo thing, in terms of something antagonist, is not being introduced like by the paranormal or people who have experienced something paranormal for the first time. Apparently, there is a minor antagonist in the perfect origin arc of the manga series called Kinnikuman or Kinnikuman, and the antagonist is called Peekaboo. Even in Flash comics, Peekaboo has metahuman teleportation powers. That's another villain. I did not know about this. I just got to know about like this the last day when I was preparing this script. It is all innocence and fun until it isn't, and then you find yourself in a tricky situation. So, what do we know about Peekaboo as an entity of the paranormal sort? It refers to a paranormal, supernatural figure or entity described in personal accounts by me as something that briefly stares at them from behind objects, characterized as appearing or hiding and reappearing. The reported apparitions talk about entities that look over corners and are often linked to story of shadow. Now, this is something that I relate to a lot because, again, I believe that I have a bit of an experience in terms of shadow people because all the time in my periphery I feel as if there have been like the shadow just passed or something was moving. So I get the thing of the shadow human, but like I said, the one that I saw was like completely black. There was no face. It was just like a blob of head popping in and popping out. And by the time I turned around, it was gone. So I very resonate with the fact of the shadow people and haunting acting. Now, what essentially would describe an entity as a peekaboo is the fact that first it'll be peeking from somewhere. The other is like it is
obvious.
and it's always like behind doors, from corners, even behind furniture, and that is kind of creepy because I've seen a lot of furniture, and bro, if I ever see a peekaboo behind a furniture, that furniture is getting thrown. It's getting donated. It's getting thrown away, crashed. It's not gonna be at my home anyway. And then again, there's people who describe peekaboos. So one description is the one that I gave. It does not have like any
face.
Yeah, no face, no character, no structure. It's just like a blob of dark, a head of dark, as if you're seeing a silhouette. It's move in, move out, and it's gone. And then there are people who talk about it as if like a specific woman with a long hair, like unpleasant expression on her face, kind of a thing. A lot of people do not even see the face; they just see a woman in long hair peeking around there, and they just make what the face is like.
They just know it's a woman because of the long hair.
Yeah, that is how they judge. It's like a woman with long hair. I don't know what to make of it. However, I did go on Reddit and find stories of people talking about the same, and apparently I'm not the only one.
Oh,
I might not be scared, but they are. A lot of jumbling up and meeting of different folklores here. And I came across 2-3 different folklores here that I've added to my list that we'll be working on. I'll be working on exploring more so that I can spook you. But the thing about it is, again, that still so much that, is common in different folklores. And people will point out, like, so and so happened, so and so is seen.
Same,
it's very interesting.
Nearly the same story but different names.
Absolutely. And I found across one, and I might be butchering pronunciation sometime soon when I reach that part, but yeah, it's there.
Okay.
So,
let's start?
Yes, absolutely. So the first story from Reddit says, is there any sort of spirit or entity known for peeking at people? And believe me, I've been asking myself the same question. And I don't know why I never looked it up on Reddit, because somebody has been asking the same thing. Was asking the same thing about 4 years ago.
Oh wow. Like, more for me to be like, is there any spirit who keeps, watching people? Is there peeking? You feel like, being watched. Like, that's what I have felt most of the times. Like, being watched.
Like, most of your encounters are like, I felt very watched. Like,
exactly.
I was like under a gaze.
Yes,
and it was so intense that she would not be out of the blanket.
Exactly. I could not move.
Exactly, out of the blanket. That's intense.
Because right? Like, sometimes that
you're being seen.
Yes, like that watch does not feel good, or like in your gut.
The gaze is very heavy.
Exactly.
You feel the presence. It is
exactly.
Like something
it's really heavy, and you know that it's not good, or it's not essentially something. Like, when you stare at someone, there are ways you stare at
Absolutely. So you understand that, like, gaze is probably not grateful.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to be seen like this.
Exactly. Like, if someone's looking at me, I don't want to look at that person because I'm not sure what I'll, find on that expression.
Exactly. I don't want to know what's there. I don't want to know who's watching.
Exactly.
Just be gone.
Exactly.
True. Okay, so let's start with the first story. This person says, I've had 2 incidents now where I've seen some sort of figure peeking at me from behind an object. I was somewhat willing to... Exactly, like very specific. I was somewhat willing to write it off at first, since nothing else has ever happened in my current home, and nothing happened since the first time I saw it about 4 months ago. This is until last night when something appeared to be peeking at me again from the same location I saw it for the first time. For a little more context, I'll describe each instant and how the entity looked below. First time, I was exiting my bathroom. I saw it staring at me intently from behind a skinny tall lamp that I have at the bathroom door. It appeared to be a woman with long, stringy black hair and no eyebrows, with a stare that conveyed either anger or extreme focus. So very serious gaze.
That's really creepy.
Very creepy. However, I could only see the top part of her head face. Her head was positioned at an inhuman angle, and I know that no person could have actually peered at me from behind the lamp the way the entity did. Not to mention that no one else was at home at the time. Needless to say, I screamed and jumped away when I saw it. When I turned back, she was gone. That is absolutely sensible reaction.
Exactly.
We spooked out that bad. Because believe me, I'd never step back in the house again if I saw something of the sort. I see stuff moving, even if it is due to the fan. For a second, I'm like, did you move or did I see you move? This is your chance. If you move, then you'll move again and I'll leave the house. I am done. I do not have the capacity to be dealing with anything anymore. I'll leave you be. Just give me a sign.
Exactly, just give me a sign.
Second time, last night, my bed is positioned towards the bathroom, the same corner where I saw it the first time. I was trying to get to sleep and had my knees raised as I stared blankly ahead of me until I fell asleep. A tip on that, close your eyes while you're trying to fall asleep so that you do not see stuff.
Exactly. Please, like, how do you fall asleep with your eyes open? I don't get it.
And I could never. If a corner is too dark and I feel like there is somebody standing, I'll probably switch on the light. The number of times I switch on the flashlight before I sleep just because I got spooked by a dark corner. If I had a penny for that If I had a penny for that, I'd still have a significant amount in my account.
Like what I do is if I'm trying to fall asleep and the room is dark, there's no light, I just keep my eyes closed. You cannot make me open my eyes.
Ostrich.
Absolutely not.
Ostrich. You don't see me, I don't see you.
Exactly. Same thing. Or I need a light.
I need blanket, a light.
Right.
Blanket.
Exactly, a blanket. You know that it's like you mentioned, ostrich. Yes. Cover your face, you don't see anything. Exactly. I don't see anything, nothing.
I remember remember I told you about this thing that I saw on somebody's roof at 3:30 p.m. I saw a person sitting, and for one moment the person was seated there, and they were not even on the rooftop. They were on the stairs of the rooftop, and the stair was a metallic one. Mm-hmm. So I see a silhouette of a person. It moved. And I was like, perhaps it's a neighbor on the rooftop. Mm-hmm. I kid you not. I look down, I look up, and the entity is gone. And I call it an entity because for a person, you hear a sound when people move. It's a metallic stair. When you step up or step down, you hear that thump. And it's pin drop at 3:34 in the morning. There's little to no light. And it'll take more than a second for a person to vanish. It's not like I blinked, looked up, looked down, and the person was gone. Right. And the way I hightailed out of this place, I just moved. Went back to my room, I was under the blanket as if nobody could find me under the blanket.
What were you doing at 4:30 on your terrace?
I was not on my terrace. I saw this from my balcony. I had not gone to sleep. And a lot of times I was probably sleeping. But believe me, I do not hallucinate an entire silhouette.
Exactly. Right. I don't...
And that too moving. It's it was something as if it was like this when I stared. The person was like this with one knee up, one knee down. It's okay, fine. Perhaps the person was not able to sleep. But you don't just vanish out there.
Right.
You have another rooftop joining that roof from this. So either I'll see you here or I'll see you there.
Right, exactly.
You don't be like, oh my god, Doraemon door, and I teleport. But that is what happened. And I was okay. Not my business, not my circus, definitely not my monkey. So I'm out of here.
Exactly. Did you close the balcony door?
Obviously, that was one of the first things that I did, and I was under the blanket. You don't see me, I don't see you. I never saw anything. Exactly. Don't come after me. You're not welcome, not allowed.
Okay, after that, the second instance?
Yes, they wanted to fall asleep with their eyes open. Then from the side of my knee, a shadow figure moved in my vision and peeked over at me from the exact same angle the first one did. I could not make out its features as well, since this time my room was mostly dark, whereas when I first saw it, my room was brightly illuminated, but it had a similar shape to the thing I saw a few months ago. I did not feel intense fear this time, since my partner was sleeping next to me, and I wasn't alone like the first time. Apologies for the long post, and thanks to anyone who provides feedback of any kind. The only feedback that I have is have a night lamp placed there, perhaps keep your flashlight handy, and for the lack of other options, just keep your eyes closed. Right. You don't see it, it does not see you.
Exactly. Did anyone give them any suggestions in the comments?
There were a lot of suggestions, and people were sharing their experiences, which I'm going to read. Because this was one long thread with a lot of stories. So I just went ahead and okay.
We got them.
Never needs to know.
Yes.
Okay. So this is another person. This person was in the comment of the previous story. They said, I had a house that had peekers too. It was, that is what they call this peeker thing. It was a 1970s built house with a long hallway and bedrooms of that hall. If I was up late reading or watching TV, I would see someone in the hallway peeking out it. It always seemed softly out of focus, so I couldn't tell exactly who it was or a real person. Wasn't sure if it was my eyesight when it happened or not. That person I saw was bloody and out of focus. It wasn't a shadow person. I saw one of those ones, same house. The way they say it nonchalantly, I was like, are you okay?
The moment they said 1970s, and I was like,
the house has history.
That makes sense.
It wasn't a scary feeling. I would get up to see who it was, and everybody was sleeping.
It was much like yours. Everybody was sleeping.
Yes.
I was not exactly scary. You do not feel scared.
None of the things that I saw were out of focus. The head popping out was 4K HD from my own view, and this silhouette, like I said, I saw a person sitting there with their hands moving, like head moving. You know the fact that when I looked up and the head moved like this,
Oh my
for a second
God.
I was like, okay, they saw me, so it's probably my neighbors. And then I looked up and it was gone. I was like, okay, not neighbors. I did not see them. I'm going back home.
God, it creeps me out.
Terribly, terribly. The amount of times I just refused to step out of my house room after 11, despite it being my own house, is insane.
I totally get you. If I see things like that, if I step out of the house, I'm not going.
Never.
Absolutely.
Balcony door closed. I still keep it closed to this day.
Same. Like, I don't know, for some reason, stepping out in the balcony, especially, like,
After
first of all,
hours.
exactly, I need the light on the balcony.
Absolutely.
Secondly, I'm not stepping out unless it's literally necessary. Like, I'm like, damn, door closed. That's it.
And you know, like, what's the funny part? Peekaboo happened to be one of Peekaboo along with hide and seek happened to be one of my favorite games. Happens to be one of my favorite games because I have one of the best hiding places around. There was this time I used to hide in the balcony, and you know, like a lot of times you hang up clothes for drying.
Right.
I used to hide behind the clothes, and whenever somebody was walking from there to the washroom, I used to go like peekaboo.
What?
And I spoke with my family members out numerous times.
Now it's your time to get spooked.
Absolutely. The way it came back to me, I've definitely been spooked. So yeah. Everybody was sleeping, my then husband and my kids. My ex had a habit of lurking around, watching me and thinking about something to fight about. Generally, it was because I wanted to stay up and read or watch TV instead of being forced to lay in the dark for hours a week. When he was ready to go to bed, he expected the rest of the world to shut down, but most of the time it wasn't him. There wouldn't be time for him to silently get back in his side of the bed and pretend to be sleeping. I caught him doing that a couple of times and didn't let on that I knew. I heard his steps, I heard him getting in bed, going to his side and pulling the covers over himself and pretending to be asleep. I have no idea if they are a thing or what they would be called. I just call them the peekers. Do not miss that house or that guy. Boring. But reasonably so.
No, reasonably. The guy thing I totally understand. And obviously the house is... who will miss such a house?
I for sure will. That makes a lot of sense. The name here of the person who commented made up from the word which is called necromancer, and they are like just changed up their username, but it's hilarious when I read that under like a paranormal associated subreddit.
How does it say?
Necromancer. This person says, peeking entities tend to have a lot of the same qualities. Generally, they seem to be harmless, which is probably why they have only ever been caught looking at people. Though sometimes, peeking is reported as a sort of precursor to escalation in activity. I so hope to not know more about this.
Okay, like you're saying that it might
escalate.
Okay.
Like first step to like
Is
the entity,
peeking?
yeah, like the entity is presenting itself in the form of peeking or a gaze, and then it might be like getting stronger and escalating to further activities, which we don't want. Yeah, we don't want that. Okay, so this person says someone else mentioned Yurei specifically, but Yurei, pardon my pronunciation, it can be something else, but I believe this is like a Japanese folk, are often accompanied by hitoda or ghost lights. You remember?
Yes, we were talking about ghost lights.
Yes, the last. So unless you have seen any weird lights lately, we can probably rule that up. One potential method of preventing peekers is simply removing locations to peek from. The theory is similar to how you deal with Tsukima Onna. She's a ghost who peeks through cracks. The solution: get rid of cracks and crevices by taping them up.
Okay, but how do you remove spaces to peek from? Like, to be honest, if you're looking at a wall,
no furniture.
That doesn't make much sense, right? Like, in that case, the first case that we read, the lamp could be removed.
Right.
Okay, so that would
in my case, it cannot be removed. I
but
started peeking from behind a pillar.
Exactly, that was what I was talking about. Like, if you're seeing something from behind a pillar or behind a door, how do you remove that?
And like again, where I, speak up against the fact is like I did not see it in a dark corner.
Right,
it was a well lit spot, which is why I was so sure that it had to be one of my cousins peeking out and they were probably awake and I did not see them. But it wasn't.
Everyone was sleeping.
Half of them were not home. They were out. Oh, wow. So yeah, perhaps it works. Like there's different ways of dealing with entities. Whichever works, as long as it works, it's good.
Right.
Go ahead, remove that thing. Remove the pillar if you can. The person continues to say, in this case, you could try to remove the object. Someone might be able to hide behind. Switch to wall-mounted lamps. Place furniture against walls. Place a few mirrors in clever locations to give you sight lines around corners. Now, again, a lot of mirrors in the same room is not welcome because it works like, there were people who were saying portals. Yeah, a lot of energy and allowing people. Even there was this thing about phase, like if you have a lot of, I'm not sure how correct this is, but I believe I read it somewhere or perhaps heard it in some podcast where they mentioned like if you have a residence or a building built at a place which used to follow in the ways of a fade, right? And in your corridors or the doors, rooms align in a way such that you create a straight path. So a few might be passing and then you might be facing a lot of stuff. Not essentially hard, they could just be passing, but sometimes they like to get mischievous. So that's one thing again. It's like a corridor for them to pass through. I don't know, I'll probably look up more on that, but this reminded me of that. So yeah, if you're concerned about the spirit potentially being harmful, salt, iron and assorted incenses can be used to ward off manifestations. Now I've heard of salt, I've heard of iron, and in terms of incenses, I've heard of burning sage. The iron thing is also pretty prevalent here in terms of, like those terrible nightmares that so iron makes sense.
Them, like iron items, keys, or stuff like that anything under your pillows.
Exactly, anything iron. And even on top of that, I also understand salt and iron in the sense like they're supposed to be harmful to face.
What iron?
Iron and salt.
Okay, yes.
So I've heard that they're also harmful to face. I've been watching a lot of Supernatural. So they used to like ward off demons with salt. So that always stay in my head. Like Supernatural, carry on away with Sam. I'm no Sam or Dean, but yeah, I've heard about salt and iron from them.
I think they were the first, I remember they were the first people to use, at least I heard. We have seen them use salt so much to ward off demons.
Yes.
Seriously.
At this point, I'm like, demons, salt. Salt is the solution to a lot of issues.
Exactly.
Fae, you have salt. Demons, you have salt. You find the collective salt.
Exactly.
You want pickles, salt.
It was usually, firstly we saw, holy water.
Yes.
And then it became salt.
Somehow it was salt.
Both of them are still there.
Yes. Extensive. So this person continues to say assorted instances can be used to ward off manifestations. Salt is considered a purifying element in most cultures. Absolutely
true.
Iron is often considered to be a grounding element. Also true. And things like sage, broom tops, St. John's wort, and rue are all believed to have protective properties. Broom tops, bro.
Oh, the ones that we burn.
Brooms. That's also something that we
some people use it to ward off evil, remember?
Yes.
They burn it to ward off evil.
I know sage, but I've not seen somebody burn broom tops. However,
I've heard and seen people do that.
I've heard
like the wooden sticks. Broom ka jo wooden sticks.
That is what they do with the top.
I
was like, bro, why would you? That is so inconvenient. But whatever says their board.
Whatever helps, right?
Absolutely. Never wish to be in a position to know.
Exactly.
So we're good. It's probably worth noting though, if the instances are rare enough, it may not even be worth trying to throw down. A lot of people have stories of encountering entities once or twice and then never again. And taking direct action could also piss it off, and you'll end up drunkenly fist fighting and on rear in the parking lot outside the Applebee's at 1 a.m. Another entity that I have no idea about, I'll definitely look into it because that sentence was very intriguing.
You don't want to drunk fight anyone at a parking lot, but sure. Especially not a spirit.
A parking lot in itself is like a whole other dimension.
Seriously.
It's like a Pandora boxes of everything being creepy, everything being harmful, everything being not wanting to experience.
To be honest, I don't know. For some reason, parking lots and basements give me heebie-jeebies. Like, they are
There's
creepy
another,
as
there's
well.
another thing associated with that. Remind me, we'll do back rooms.
Okay.
Upcoming episode. So, this other person says, I hate speakers. Absolutely resonate with you.
True, very true.
I used to get a lot of those in my old family home in a few new places when things around me were growing increasingly stressful. So perhaps it's stress. I don't know. Was I stressed for Scooby-Doo? It's just them, not me. I definitely wasn't stressed. I'm unsure if it's a common thing that the company is stressed or paranormal, absolutely. But these incidents have instilled a great fear of long hallways and blind corners that I won't soon forget. Makes sense. You know, you have this moment of like, should I be venturing into that corner when the corridors are like extensive?
Exactly. Yeah.
Then you're like, is somebody gonna turn the corner?
No, right.
Even in shows, a lot of characters, you know, like they're like working with all that great and confidence, and they turn the corner, like freak of fear. That moment, like, is a ghost gonna have that moment in front of my eyes? I'd rather not be the witness to the same.
Like, exactly. Can you imagine like seeing something peeking out of a hallway in your home, and you need to walk that hallway every single day?
That is not my home anymore. It's the entities. I'm leaving the place, and like, I'll live at my relatives until unless my place is not cleansed, washed, and rinsed out of whatever was belonging there, even if it was for a moment.
The entity can pay the rent.
Yeah. It's yours, pay the rent onto the, like renter.
Whatever.
I don't mind. I just don't know you. I don't want to deal with you.
Right, exactly.
Be gone. The next person says, something similar happened to me a few months ago. We have a fairly long hallway in my house where my bedroom is positioned. You can see all the way up the hallway into the lounge.
Oh God.
You have some courage being there. I remember getting up to go to the toilet, and as I did, I saw this strange figure peeking at me from the lounge room doorway. It made me jump, and I quickly shut my door, probably a bad move. And I sat down with my back against the door for about 30 minutes. Shutting the door was good. Sitting with it against the back, probably not something that I ever suggest. I will not let the thing move out of my eyesight. There's a game of this song.
Oh, okay.
The more you blink, the closer the entity gets.
Yes. There was a game. I did see a
terrifying game.
I did see a reel on that. I think I need to ask my friend about that. But yes, there is a paranormal game that goes around the same concept.
It's like creepy horror thing. Because I think my cousin was playing it. And like, the moment you turn around the corner and it's out of your sight, you don't see it, it moves. Then you look back at the corner and you'd be like, oh, this was like 10 meters away, now it's like 2 feet away. Very freaky. I hate those.
Like, so when this person's reaction seems
absolutely makes sense.
Very,
something
very
that I'll be doing. Just that my back will not be to the gate.
I'll literally move further away into the room and
perhaps be under the back. Exactly. Perhaps under the blanket. That is where we'd be. Okay. So they said I sat with my back against the door for 30 minutes. I did eventually get the courage to get up and investigate. The only thing in the lounge was my 2 cats sound asleep. The fact that the animals did not respond is all right.
Exactly. So maybe it wasn't that.
But perhaps it was just passing through.
Right,
it did not mean to stay. It was just there passing through, and we just happened to be the unlucky, person to see it. Exactly.
Like the fact that we're just talking about doorways and hallways, and we find one similar, just says that that more. It's just like you said, they are maybe passing through that place.
That is one idea that freaks me out really a lot. Because imagine, entities don't essentially need doorways. Like, that is what I believe. If I'm going by Harry Potter, which is not the strongest source to be going up, but still, you see the ghosts sailing through the corridors and through the walls. So if I think that is something that happens in real life, and they'd not be barred by the presence of matter there, and they're just passing through, you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you got a glimpse of something that possibly was not meant for your eyes, and you just happened to see it. Good for you that you shut the door and sat there. Good for you that you are here to write it and maybe you appreciate the back. Now, I believe this was the last one. What did I do? Yeah. This was the last one where this person says, my wife has been seeing entities peek out from trees on our property a few times. I never have. They have always been shorter. I like to think that they are elementals or something like that. Nothing ever inside the house like this though.
So trees in the morning, beautiful, very good, nice.
At the
Trees
night,
at
absolutely
night?
horrifying, definitely not.
No, absolutely never.
Exactly. I don't even want to see if I see anything. I am not looking at the tree. The tree, bro, you have your own entities, you have your own like people living there, entities living there. All good, your space. I don't want to be the one to be intruding.
Right.
I don't want to see stuff that I'm not supposed to see and then be terrified about it.
Like I remember, like when we like my dad's place at Kerala, it's basically like the house is in the middle, okay, and surrounded by trees and gardens and everything, okay, like a huge backyard, a huge front yard, and in the front yard you basically have the entire driveway or pathway, and both the sides of the pathway you have 2 mango trees. Okay, so the mango trees are like
amazing
huge.
trees, but yeah, scary as
It's really huge mango trees and everything. Morning, it looks beautiful. Afternoon, even better, it's really cool under those trees and everything. Evening, also, again, very pretty.
You have that particular moment with the golden hour where sunlight hits it right, and the leaves look beautiful. It's beautiful, like literally, it's very picturesque and it's very beautiful. Again, at night, it's like I will not go up to that pathway unless I have someone with me. And a light. And a light, yes. Like I need my phone torch. I'm not walking up from the house to the entire pathway. Absolutely not. Like even when someone comes in, suppose it's actually a person coming in, like, I freak out. Silhouette moving. Exactly, it's literally silhouette moving. Where is your flashlight, dude? What kind of night vision do you have? Do I need to be concerned? Like people there are used to it. They just walk in like it's normal, but because it's not normal for us. With the area, but not for us. Exactly, it's freaky. Very, very freaky. Now imagine this is the front yard. Yeah. The backyard is way worse. I don't even want to comment on what the backyard does not exist. When it's the evening, backyard does not exist. It's literally pitch black. That is why it does not exist. You know what is this about our hometowns and like the rural areas is the fact that we are ones who are living in cities. So we're not used to it being that dark. Exactly. Even our nights are not dark. There's lights everywhere. When we are on the rooftop, due to the dust and the like pollution in the air, it bounces off. We're able to see silhouettes of buildings, silhouettes of people, and if they're closer to us, we'll be able to make out the features completely. Exactly. But in those rural areas, it's that quiet. The air is clean. And when people sleep, you only hear crickets calling, and sometimes even they don't. Exactly. And then when you're trying to look out, all you see is pitch black, and you feel like a bit disoriented because you're not supposed to see that deep. Exactly. Like it's completely black. There's absolutely no light, and the only light you're seeing is like few meters away, and it's so dim and so light. And once that's gone, it's like everything is ending right where you're starting. Exactly. It's very deep. It feels very consuming at times, like when that kind of darkness exists. Exactly. I remember I was traveling with a bunch of friends and it was not late, but we were in the mountains. So everybody was we usually try to lock in and go to sleep at around 7:30. Even if you're up, just stay in the but we were at a guest house, I believe. Everybody was just be in the guest house. So after we had our dinner, we had stepped out. And I do not think I have seen that black in a long time. Something being so dark. Right. There were a ton of trees. The road was spacious. It was spacious to the point that cars could easily turn and travel. Then you'd have space for people to walk. But in that moment, it was so dark. Stepping mere feet away from our own guest house made us feel like we were, stepping into an unrendered, unfinished version of a game where that is our home base and we're venturing into the unknown. Exactly. It was that scary. It's like venturing into the darkness with absolutely no idea what's coming. Exactly. I was no, that is where I'm not going. Exactly. That's where I draw the line. I will not see anything approaching, dude. I turned on my phone flashlight and it barely covered feet ahead of me. Exactly. You would not be able to understand if a person comes to you until you hear them, their footsteps. If you don't hear them, it's so quiet. And if you don't hear them, by any chance, if you don't hear them, which is not normal for a human being, you'll not be able to see them unless they literally come close to you. So you better not see them, you better not step out. That's one thing I always, keep in mind, that when you're going or visiting someplace, believe the locals. Absolutely. Just listen to them. They live there. They know the rules. Appellation. we have heard enough of the Appalachian
Exactly.
lores, and even those from our own rural towns,
Right.
to be very respectful about the various rules laid down by the locals of this place. They know the place best.
Exactly. And we remember how we were talking about last episode on, so if someone calls you, don't look back.
Never.
This works even more than in cities. It works when you're in rural area. This is the worst.
I kid you not. There was this situation where I was at one of my. This was years ago, like back in 2014, 2015. And almost 10 to 11 years now. And I was at one of our own villages. I'd been there and I had my grandma there, like grandma from the village. So it was her house that we were visiting, and we had not seen her earlier. Like I'd been a toddler when I'd seen her, and when I was like a little bit older, I saw her there. And there was, they had different rules. I mean, like after you eat, you go and sleep. You do not venture out of your space after like 7:30. 8 was like late night for them. That is how early they slept. They had like a good dinner and then they went to sleep and everybody.
No, this I can relate with, because back in my dad's place as well, it was very similar to this. Like after 8:30 was basically like you close everything and you go to sleep.
Yeah, it's like cityscape with 12.
Yes. It is like you can stay inside. Probably they are not exactly completely asleep at that time,
but just stay indoors.
Exactly. You don't venture out anymore.
And they were like
all the doors
and windows.
Exactly. All the doors and everything are closed by this.
And you know what? Like when I'd gone there, this had completely been out of my mind. I just recalled. It was like here when we were visiting her. During the day there was like something like due to which I was calling her and she just wouldn't turn. She wouldn't respond until as I went to her and then I called her. And I was like poking her. Please listen to me, please. She's like, oh, it was you. I was like, yes. So then she spoke all around, but she wouldn't turn around and yell back. Now this thing what happened was I was asleep through this. The next morning I woke up to hear this.
Okay.
What had happened was apparently there were 2 rooms and the rooms were adjacent to the main road. Like the rural pathway through which all the carts and what passed. And what happened, they had a smaller hallway in the front, and then we had a open courtyard. So it was that sort of a place, and the rooms were something that were creating a boundary to the central courtyard. So we were in one of those rooms, and apparently at night there had been a lady waiting.
In the courtyard?
On the road.
Oh my god.
And somebody had stepped down from one of the other houses, and they could not identify who was waiting because there was no figure there. And in the next morning, they were they woke up. I'm not sure if it was our place or if it was our neighbors, but they have different rooftop sunsets of the sunlight where you keep the hay and around the boundary wall you stack up things.
Yes.
It was as if somebody was trying to climb through that boundary wall, and they had put a lot of stuff that was stacked near it. And there was a part of the roof. It was a thatched roof, so it had been pulled down. And all that people had heard was a random bailing, which was very frequent. And everybody was people were it's probably somebody who needs help. But the guy who came up was I do not see anybody else.
Oh, that guy was really brave,
It was either brave or foolish. Because he went around saying, I did not see anybody on the road. There were people who had opened up their windows to just peek outside to see if it's person or if it's something that they should not be responding to. And they were we did not see anybody. It's only later in the day that we, at once, we woke up only to realize that so much stuff had fallen. The thatched roof, a part of it was down on the ground. It was as if somebody was trying to climb the boundary wall. But the boundary wall is not high. The roof is not high. It was all tumbled. And then they were everybody was pretty spooked. I was not, because I literally did not understand, but thinking back to it, I should have been.
You should have been there.
Yeah. I was there. I was just sleeping. The amount of things that I sleep through, including my alarms.
That's seriously precious.
So, that was all
for today.
Yeah, we had a lot of experience from our own
Right.
our own end to share, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to all of that. We'd always be open to receiving if you have had any experience of the sort and reading it out on the pod, and getting to know you better. Even if you don't want us to read the stories from your end on the pod, and just read the stories and communicate over mail.
Right, exactly.
That's something as well. We have our email and we listed in the description below. Reach out to us if you have any.
Yes.
Absolutely. If you have any stories to share or you'd like us to talk about those topics, you're welcome. Please do share them. We are open to the ideas and learning more about spooky, scary stuff or something that interests you in general. So yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, I believe. We had an amazing time
Right,
speaking
exactly,
and sharing stories. And we also hope that you had an amazing time listening to the stories. I hope whatever chore that you were doing along
while listening to
while
us.
listening to the podcast, be cleaning or skincare, perhaps dusting, or just lying on your bed. I hope that you had a great experience. Cannot wait to get to the next episode because we have another thing planned up and really lined up and coming for you. And it's something that we really adore.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, until the next episode, bye
Bye-bye.
bye and take care. Ta-da.
Ta-da.